Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. The Mar-a-Lago has been raided, everybody, and I'm here for it, okay? I'm here for it. Wait, hold on, what? Okay, no, I don't believe you. Link or ban, all right? Trump's house getting raided by the FBI, link or ban. I'm actually going to wait for this one because this is interesting. FBI searches Mar-a-Lago, Trump says. Whoa, they even broke into my safe, the former president said. Oh, shit. Whoa, holy shit. FBI has searched the Mar-a-Lago home of Donald Trump, the former president said in a statement. They even broke into my safe, Trump said on a Monday in a lengthy statement describing it as a raid. Can we get this? Someone... Well, I'm going to read the rest of this. Someone get me the actual statement that he put out. Was it a video? Was it a... Yeah, someone get me the actual statement. Hold the fuck up. This is interesting as fuck. It was not immediately clear why the agents were present at the Mar-a-Lago, but he said it was under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Huh. Interesting. Okay. After cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate, he said. They said it was a lengthy statement, but that was 50 seconds long. It happened like 15 minutes ago. But yeah, but he put out a statement. Someone find me that statement. FBI and U.S. attorneys' offices in Washington. Okay, one second. We're also going to change the title, okay? The news of the FBI action... Oh, wait, hold on. The FBI and U.S. attorneys' offices in Washington for the Southern District of Florida did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The news of the FBI action comes amid an increasingly complex thicket of legal threats encircling Trump and his inner circle. Most prominent among them is the escalating investigation of efforts by Trump and his allies to disrupt the transition of power in 2020, in part by attempting to appoint fraudulent presidential elections that would create a pretense for blocking Joe Biden's victory. That investigation has become an increasingly public threat to Trump, with some of his top allies and former White House facing grand jury subpoenas and FBI searches. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know if has this ever happened before in the history of the United States that a former president's house was raided by the FBI? Earlier in the what could possibly be the outcomes of this? It feels like if I'm pretty sure you can't run for office if you have a felony, right? Although that might not, it might just be that you can't vote and you can run. I'm not 1,000% sure, but like if he gets charged and convicted of some felony, or maybe like sedition or something like that, could this be the fact that they bar him from running for office in the future? Early in the day, the Justice Department defended its decision to seize the cell phone of John Eastman, the attorney who helped devise Trump's strategy to seize a second term he didn't win. Federal investigators are also pursuing evidence that Trump's administration mishandled presidential records and even removed some boxes to Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. An executed search warrant would require the sign-off of a federal judge who would issue the warrant based on upon evidence of a potential crime. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see what this video, or wait, hold on. Let's see what this video is that,
Just into our newsroom, former President Donald Trump says his Mar-a-Lago home has been raided by the FBI. The former president has since released a statement saying in part, quote, "These are dark times for our nation. As my beautiful home, a Mar-a-Lago..."
Dark times. Oh, I don't know about dark times for this nation. It certainly seems like dark times because he's going to be locked up in a dungeon. God damn it. Holy shit. Thank you so much. Let's just finish this video out real quick.
And Palm Beach, Florida is currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. The statement goes on to say, quote, "They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democratic National Committee?" Here
is that wasn't sanctioned by our actual like investigative branches of our government, or not branches of our government, like agencies in our government. Yeah, like it's almost like that one was completely fucked up, and this one was sanctioned by a judge through the legal system. Like, what do you think is this fucking difference, you dumb fuck?
In reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th president of the United States. Again, this information just into our newsroom. Stay with us both on air and online. We will bring you any updates on this breaking news as soon as we receive them.
Jesus, that's so this is crazy. Okay, so this is the actual statement. These are dark times for our nation. Hold on, should I do it in his voice? These are dark times for our nation. As my beautiful, I'm sorry. It just sounds too much like John F. Kennedy. I can't do a Trump voice. I always turn into Kennedy by the end of it. These are dark times for our nation as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. I love the idea that it's occupied by a large group of FBI agents, meaning like he can't go to bed in his own home. Like, what does he mean occupied? Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. Well, you're not the president anymore, buddy, so sorry. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. You know, it's actually kind of funny. Is this the... No. Where is the article that I had up earlier that showed that the Democrats actually have a lead in this year's election? Like the most recent projections from 538 put it at 60-40. Where is that? Fuck me. Someone find that article for me so I can just pop that up there as he says that we're coping and seething about the midterms, right? We're actually fighting for the midterms. We don't have time to cope and seethe. In the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Yeah. Actually, in broken third world countries, you would have succeeded in overthrowing the government. That's the difference here, is that like, this is actually what happens in first world countries that actually have rule of law. Whereas like you were trying to turn us into those like second or third world countries that don't have the rule of law, where the fucking dictator can just like run around and do whatever they want. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democrat National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. The former President of the United States. The political persecution of President Donald J. Trump has been going on for years, with a now fully debunked Russia scam, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2. Well, you did get impeached the first time, and I believe you also got impeached the second time. You just never got removed, and so much more. It just never ends. It is political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was allowed to delete and acid wash 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her to account. She even took antique furniture and other items from the White House. I don't know anything about that. Who the fuck knows or cares? Okay, fuck off. Like, that's not, number one, I don't think that that's a crime. Number two, I don't know if that's something that like every president does. So like, who fucking cares? And also, if there was like so much scrutiny over the Hillary Clinton stuff, do you really think that like if there was any, like she was never, no one around her was actually like arrested? Yeah, she wasn't arrested. There was no evidence that there was any wrongdoing. It was just a stupid, like terrible OPSEC like situation. Like that was like the worst of it, but it wasn't like criminal. It was just stupid. Anyways, I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people, and I delivered for our country like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance, I don't know why I'm turning into fucking Gilbert Gottfried, and see my dominance in all polls, they're trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, the political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. Okay, let's see what these tweets are real quick. if you're a conservative and you're having a tough time processing the unannounced FBI raid on the Mar-a-Lago, just pretend the FBI is 12 cops in SWAT gear, and Mar-a-Lago is an apartment occupied by a black woman whose best friend's brother once smoked a joint a block over. Jesus fucking Christ. What a... Do we know what he's being investigated for? Probably something in regards to January 6th, but like we'll never... we won't know until either like charges are filed or something like that, you know? Let me see what SDA said. Okay, listen. This is a little funny, okay? Sorry, it's a little fucking funny, SDA. I'm sorry if you disagree, but this is a little fucking funny. New York Times says classified docs. I want to see what they're saying on Fox News. Hold on. Fox News Live.
But we are just getting news out of Mar-a-Lago that Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago, his residence was...
He can't say it. Oh, no.
Searching FBI Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. The circumstances of that remain unclear right now, but there's aerials of Mar-a-Lago there down in
Mar-a-Lago.
And Trump confirmed those on his social media account, Truth Social, saying that it did in fact happen. So we are continuing to follow this story as it continues. Here's a post from Truth Social from Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States. He says his beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida.
He can't say it right. He's misspeaking. He misspoke.
He continues on talking about the raid on his home. He says it was not necessary or appropriate. We are continuing to follow this story. The circumstances currently unclear why they did that. We are just watching as this potentially could be happening. Let's go back to the video a little bit. Just here's the aerials once again in Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, as Donald Trump, the FBI, he confirmed that the FBI has raided Mar-a-Lago. The circumstances of which and what they're looking for there at Mar-a-Lago are uncertain at these times. Of course, we will keep you updated on all those details. If more comes down tonight or in the coming days, we will keep you updated there as Mar-a-Lago, as you can see it there. We're going to take a quick break on Live Now from Fox.
I want to see what they say. Fuck, I want to see the talking heads. I want to see the talking heads talk about fucking Trump getting raided. Mar-a-Lago. The Mar-a-Lago has been raided, everybody, and I'm here for it, okay? I'm here for it. Okay, we need to find more. Please, chat, I need your help, okay? I need you guys to find me clips of fucking Fox News people talking about this. I need to see clips, not just tweets. I need to see clips, not just tweets, okay? Tweets are welcome, but I need to see some fucking clips, okay? Okay, the former president of the United States did not handle classified documents properly. I watched him do it. I watched him go through documents, throw some away, rip some up, and put some in his pocket. Stephanie Grisham, Trump's former press secretary, says on CNN. Well, give me the fucking clip. Yeah, give me the live Tucker reaction. That's what I want to know. What's the difference between this and Watergate? Donald Trump raged in a statement Monday night after FBI agents raided his house. Well, as a Watergate and FBI historian, 4 things stand out to me. 1, the idea that the FBI launched a raid on a former president would have been approved and monitored at the highest level of the Justice Department. Hard to even imagine how high the bar of probable cause must have been for the Bureau to initiate such a politically sensitive search. Seriously, can you imagine? Like these intelligence agencies have been trying so hard to get back to their reputation of being not partisan, right? Ever since 2016, they've been seen as these hyper partisan entities that are always trying to like find right wingers or find communists and take them out, right? And so they're trying to get back to this reputation of being not partisan and not going after one party or the other. This must have been really, they must have had a lot going for them to raid the the home of a former president, right? Let's see here. A search warrant means an independent federal judge also signed off on probable cause and independently believes evidence there was likely a crime committed and that more evidence would be found at Mar-a-Lago. That's huge too. 3, the fact that the search apparently didn't leak until basically when word came from Donald Trump himself shows the FBI and the Justice Department conducted this search by the book and at a high degree of integrity. No leaks? Impressive. Surely only a small team knew inside the DOJ. 4, taken together, this is one of the most significant, sensitive, and politically explosive actions the U.S. Justice Department and FBI has ever taken, one of a tiny handful of times it's ever investigated a president. Bottom line, the FBI and DOJ must have known they had the goods. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is spicy, guys. Holy shit. I'm actually pretty excited. This is the most exciting fucking news to come out in a long fucking time. Holy shit. Charlie Kirk. Let's see what this fucking loser has to say. Okay? Let's see what loser tiny face Charlie Kirk has to say. The FBI just completed an unannounced raid of President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. Why do I always turn into fucking what's his name? Gilbert Gottfried when I start reading their voices. I don't know why. America is devolving into a third world nation, and its latest escalation by Merrick Garland and the Biden regime should shock every single American, regardless of who you voted for in 2020. Wow. Quote tweet. Where's the emojis? Is this the emojis? Yeah, let's get some thinking emojis. Let's get some thinking emojis. There's a lot to think about with that one, huh, fellas? Let's get some thinking emojis on this one. Hey, guys, can we all go? Can we all go and just post some thinking emojis on Mr. Charlie Kirk's thing here? Let's see here. Trump couldn't lock up Hillary in 4 years. Brandon raided his home in 2. Oh, shit. Actually fucking good. Actually fucking good. Actually fucking good tweet from Mr. Hassan. I wish I could retweet it. This is an actual W from Hassanabi. An actual W. I haven't seen a W from Hassan in so fucking long. It's been a desert of W's. It's just been a desert. And every single grain of sand, if you put it under a microscope, it just says L. Every single grain of sand says L. But he stumbled upon the rock, a giant pyramid in the middle of the desert, and it's a giant W, and it is this tweet. Thank God he got one W. Holy shit. Holy shit. Dark Brandon spreads his wings.
Fear. It absolutely will.
I'm unironic. I love it.
For all those of you who voted for President Trump, there's no way out.
There's no way out.
It can't be reasonable.
There's no way out. It's no use. It's no use. Copy link. We got another Hassan W. Are you serious? I don't believe you. I can't believe you. I refuse to believe you. There can't be 2 Hassan W's in one day. Not after this desert of hells. Watching Fox News at a time like this is truly uplifting. They're losing their minds about the Trump raid, basically asking to defund the FBI, asking about Hillary Clinton emails and how much sex Hunter Biden had on crack. Really? Fuck! Please, someone find me a feed. Someone please help me find a feed on YouTube.
FBI. The circumstances of that are unclear.
Hold on, let's go back. Let's go back.
Sure, everything here today with a lot of news on this Monday morning and Monday afternoon. We are continuing to.
I am begging chat. Okay. I'm begging chat. You guys need to help me find a live feed where the talking heads of Fox News are talking about this. Please. I need it. I need it, guys.
Multiple stories, as you just heard. Donald Trump, his home in Mar-a-Lago was raided. He's
Mar-a-Lago. He can't say it, guys.
His home was
We have a face to attach to Mar-a-Lago.
Circumstances of that are unclear. We are going to continue on and hear more from the vice.
See, Christian, I would agree with you. Hassan is at his best when having the wrong take is literally impossible. But like, you saw him talk about fucking Russia and Ukraine, right? Like, I listen. It's a desert of L's. It's a desert of L's.
President, the current vice president.
Hold on. These are the top comments in reaction to the Mar-a-Lago raid. Lock and load. Are we not in a cold civil war? What does that mean? A cold civil war? Okay, several points ago. Wait, lock and load several points ago? I don't understand what that means. Then cry out in pain as they strike you. They will cry out in an authentic pain soon. Oh God, they're coping so hard. He has but to ask us. Don Jr., we know you lurk. Cross the Rubicon. Cross the Rubicon, Don Jr. Don Jr. Don Jr. You're telling me Don Jr. This guy. You're saying this guy needs to cross the Rubicon? This motherfucker? This guy with no chin needs to cross the Rubicon? Don Jr.? Shut the fuck up! Cross the Rubicon, Don Jr. Chill the fuck out. Guy has no fucking chin. Guy has no chin. You have nothing. You have nothing to do but ask. That has but to ask. Shit, yeah? What does that mean? None of this is demonstrating in the snow shit? What? None of this demonstrating in the snow shit. Summertime was made for killing fields. Oh, they're coping so hard. They're coping so hard. Oh man, my leg is bouncing. I'm so excited right now. All right. Wait a minute. Has anyone seen Harkdan and Don Jr. in the same room? Listen, Harkdan looks like he's built much different than Don Jr. Hold on. Let's see what Rob has to say.
You see? You see how it is? On one hand, Trump's got no one to blame but himself.
Well, let me hear what he says. Trump has no one to blame but himself.
He was corrupt in having Bill Barr and people like that around him. I'm not saying that. But he failed. There are consequences to very bad choices. And Trump's very bad choice to surround himself with people that wanted to take him out is leading to him being taken out. That's what happened. Trump could have went on offense. Trump could have released unredacted, for example, all of the coup conspirators that were involved in lying to take him down. Sedition at the very least. Could have released it to the public, forcing law enforcement to go after people. He didn't. He could have pardoned people like Julian Assange that out this corruption. He didn't.
This is like the very beginning of his broadcast, okay? So I scrolled back. This is a playback.
Furthermore, where's Trump been with the peaceful January 6th protesters? Where's he been?
Trying to stay the fuck away from them so he doesn't get implicated. That's where he's been. He's been hiding. He's hiding.
And this was a criticism as well.
Hiding.
Trump
and they found him and they raided his house.
What is it? 2:30. When his supporters were being kicked off in droves in social media, he wasn't doing much. Once he was kicked off, then it was a big deal.
Because he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about you. He's a populist leader.
So part of it's like, I don't think Trump deserves it morally. But when you fail to stop the people that are literally, like, Trump had to know these people were coming for him.
It's the deep state. It was the deep state.
He left it in the hands of Bill Barr. It's what he did.
It was the deep state.
So that's the first way to look at that. On the other hand,
let's get angry.
It is certainly corruption of a magnitude even beyond what we've been seeing.
Oh, there's so much corruption, Rob.
I've been saying that the FBI should be disbanded, like I was saying earlier there.
Cringe.
Many Republicans said we disagree. Republican leadership did nothing. And it's not just on Trump. This is on McConnell. It's on McCarthy.
Deep stake.
All of the Republican leadership. Because most of them didn't want an outsider. And they'll feign outrage. Oh, geez. But this is what many of them wanted to happen. And if they didn't want, this was the obvious outcome. If you didn't think that the corruption would exponentially increase after the corruption got outed and no one got punished. In fact, not only did they not get punished, I remember watching
speed it up,
James Comey when all this stuff was coming out about him and it was obvious that he wasn't going to be charged or anything. He's just tweeting big smiles. I'm doing great, he's saying. He's laughing. Book deals. Clapper lies. He's on CNN. Brennan lies to Congress. He's on CNN. They all get cushy gigs. Everyone that goes after him.
You think that people that went after Hillary Clinton didn't get cushy gigs with like the Republican establishment? What?
So what's going to happen now?
Let me see where he gets like angry.
They have no choice at this point. By they, I mean the establishment, the FBI, the Biden administration. This time they have no choice but to find or make up a crime.
No, not necessarily. He could be exonerated.
It's that simple.
Oh my God, what a fucking stupid. He was actually being pretty fucking reasonable up to now. Like relative to like a Republican conspiracy theorist. But like now he is saying we had to make up a crime.
Shocked.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
The 4 years of investigation into Donald Trump, the raiding his lawyers' offices, his friends, people connected to him.
How's it going, Breeze Live? Bryce Live? Breeze Bryce? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I apologize in advance. Or I guess not in advance, but whatever. Listen, good old Rob. We're listening to good old Rob. I've scrolled back about 20 minutes in his broadcast. I just want to see what his take is. So, Bryce? Okay, got it. So, Endless was talking shit about everybody. He was super angry. But now we're talking about Trump, okay? We've already watched that retardation for like what? How long have I been streaming? We watched that retardation for about 4 hours. Yeah, for about 4 hours. Now we've moved on. Now we're watching Dark Brandon acolytes raiding into Trump's house. All of the Dark Brandon acolytes. Okay, so I'm ready for that. I just want to hear what he says.
Find him for some sort of crime. I assume that any billionaires committed at least financial crimes. I assume it. I assume that almost everyone that's running for national level politics at a big level like president has committed some sort of crime.
Really? Like jaywalking?
And yet with all the investigations, they were unable to find anything on him. Which I was like, maybe they did and they held it over his head. Or maybe not. Or maybe they just bided their time. Well, it's a witch hunt.
Oh, it's a witch hunt.
But that doesn't mean that there weren't crimes committed. Maybe he avoided taxes. Again, what...
Wait, hold on. Is it a witch hunt or is it not a witch hunt? Hold on. You don't get to have it both ways. Did he commit a fucking crime or did he not commit a fucking crime? Okay? If they're investigating him for fucking January 6th shit, you don't get to have it both ways where they're going to make up a crime or maybe he did commit a crime, but it's just not the crime that they were looking for. Like, you don't get to fucking have it both ways. He either did do a fucking crime or he didn't do a crime. You don't get to have it both ways. Okay?
What I'm saying is, point out a billionaire, send the FBI after to turn over every stone in their life. I'll bet you could find some sort of crime. Just like I said with the Mueller report and with the FBI investigation into Trump's team, I said this. You could go back and watch my videos. I was saying this at the beginning. You could go back and read my blog post that I had. What they would do is they started the investigation. They said, we got to do something. We need to investigate them. We need to spy on them. We need to leak information to the press to make them look bad. We need to do all of that. And if we find a crime, great. But we have to charge someone with something.
Fuck.
And then, when it comes to light, the whole time as they started the investigation, they said, everything's on the up and up. It's all good. And I had people telling me, oh, they wouldn't use the Steele dossier. They wouldn't use the opposition research to get a wiretap on a president and his team. They wouldn't do that. They went, well, if they did it, they would make sure it was verified. Well, they would heavily scrutinize it, knowing that it came from Hillary Clinton's camp. They would do it. So if they did use it, it must have been for good reason. It must be true. And everything in the dossier, it's been proven to be so true, you know?
Let's see.
And they didn't spy on him anyways. They didn't, okay, they did, they wiretapped and they used human assets, but that's not really spying. Well, okay, it's basically spying. But we know Trump was connected to Russia. The states would say, well, okay, we weren't able to get him for crimes connected to Russia. But look, George Papadopoulos misremembered a date, and he pled guilty.
Well, hold on. I think that the thing that we pointed that was like caught was the former general guy. What the fuck was it? General who? What was the guy that was caught actually having connections to Russia and then lying about it under oath? Right? Like, who was that? What was his name? Someone please help me out here. Not General Mathis, right? Like, who the fuck was it? There was some person that admitted under oath that he that he had connections and he lied under oath. And then like later on, they gave him a pardon or decided not to press charges because they got a new DOJ, right? And decided to just like not go after him at all because like if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type thing. Who was that? I don't know. I have no idea. Inzimel, sorry, I don't know how to say your name, but I don't know if it will embolden or empower the conservative base. I genuinely don't know. That's really hard to say because right now the Democrats are really, really emboldened by the overturn of Roe v. Wade. But now and so the Democrats have a slight advantage right now in terms of the polling for the midterms. But I don't know how this will affect the Republicans at all. I don't know how many of them actually care about Trump in terms of like electorally or something like that. But, you know.
We got 48 hours in jail. And we got Paul Manafort for illegally lobbying with Hillary Clinton's campaign manager's team, the Podesta group. We didn't even get them. We let them go. But we got Manafort for things he was doing in 2013. So see? And we got 17 Russian trolls that put $50,000 worth of ads on Pokemon Go and Facebook. Of course, we had to drop the charges against them. But that's what the Democrats said. They were okay with it. So they lied to start the investigation and said, trust us. If they started the investigation, they got the goods. They did it right. We know they got it. And then I said all along, the FBI knew. We have a media that's going to buy any narrative that we say. We'll just investigate whoever the hell we want. And then say, yeah, we found some irregularities. It was worth investigating. See?
Skipping forward a little bit. Fuck that. Don't care.
Enjoy your victory today, Democrats. Enjoy your victory, left-wing Twitch. I understand that you're a bunch of jackboots who want all of your political opponents
Hell
jailed.
yeah.
I get
That's
that.
exactly what I want.
You get to nakedly show that here for the next couple days. And mark my words, if the shoe
We're
is
celebrating,
ever on the other
Testicle
foot,
Johnson.
At this point, anyone who cheers for this sort of stuff, I will have no sympathy whatsoever if the shoe is on the other foot and they and people they support suffer the same treatment. That's it.
Well, hold on. That's the thing. Like, nobody on our side is like committing crimes in this way.
All right. See if we got.
That's the thing. Like, nobody on the Democrat side is doing anything like that. Fuck. If there were people on the Democrat side that was like actually like doing enough to where they've like felt the need to use the FBI to investigate their shit, then yeah, I would have to like principally like before them being investigated. But the Democrats aren't doing that. What's happening is that there is one guy in the Republican Party that has been so overt with his corruption that they were able to use the FBI to investigate him because he tried to overthrow a free, open, and a free and honest election. Well, tell me who. Tell me who is like doing something bad enough to get the FBI after them on the Democratic side. Little bits. Oh, I think he's going on to a show now. This is so interesting. So interesting. God damn. Holy shit.
1 second, if you can hear me, I gotta.
A little far-fetched? Okay, well, if you can't give me any examples, then I think that you're the one that's being a little far-fetched here. I can point out, like, the one Republican that has enough shit going on with him, or the people that are surrounding him that actually are, like, doing enough crazy shit to where they are getting investigated by the FBI.
Okay, yeah, so I haven't used this computer forever, so I was like,
Okay, we're done listening to Rob because he's on his
great
show.
Day for a show.
Actually,
right?
wait. Lecture fan,
kidding,
he's probably
right?
also going to say something
people
crazy.
in chat are telling me that you did a great warm-up for
breaking
us.
news, because this is obviously
Start with the breaking news. I was about
maybe
to
not,
switch off of
obviously.
it.
I mean, is it going to impact the election? I mean, the news is the FBI
The coping, the seething, and the molding. I want to hear it.
Mar-a-Lago home on Monday, which people familiar with the matter said was part of an investigation into his handling of official records. You know, this reminds me, frankly, of the... Didn't they just indict Peter Navarro for using a personal email for official business? And everybody that saw that was like, wait, hold on. That's what Hillary Clinton did, and nothing happened to her. What is going on here?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
It's just amazing.
Oh, fuck, I hate them. They're so fucking
They
stupid.
don't care about the double standard. The establishment and the left, they don't care. It's all about power for them. They'll pretend to care about kids in cages when Trump's in office, and then when it's 4 times worse.
Hillary Clinton was being investigated by an all-Republican fucking panel. And they couldn't find anything. They couldn't find anything. This was more than a decade ago. They couldn't find anything. It's over. If an all-Republican fucking panel or a fucking investigative fucking, whatever the fucking in Congress can't fucking find anything over the course of a fucking 4-year, 5-year investigation, then there's probably nothing there to fucking indict. She was investigated, never indicted.
Bother doing that. Why isn't everyone who's subpoenaed from here on out just say, oh, I'm sorry, I wiped it with a cloth. That's what I did. My bad. Right? That's what you're allowed to do now, right? And so I'm not surprised this raid occurred.
What?
Yeah,
With a cloth?
He's being accused of what we know Hillary did. He's being publicly raided. The FBI is just the Gestapo of the Democratic Party and the establishment. That's what they are.
Oh
they
my God, Poe's law.
Until the midterms. They will probably indict Trump a week or two outside of the midterms. Now remember, this is all occurring as we were told repeatedly by the people in the Justice Department when Trump was in office, like Bill Barr and people like that. Well, we couldn't announce, the investigations we had before the election, into corruption or malfeasance by the FBI because we were afraid that it would influence the election. One thing you got to tip your cap to the Democrats. They don't care. They don't care what the optics are. They have power. They'll use it. It must be nice to be a Democrat today. And, what I recommend is everybody look at all your favorite Twitch streamers on the left. Look at your favorite left-wing, CNN host or New York Times writers. They're all going
He keeps on. This is something that really bothers the fuck out of me. I think it's really fucking stupid most times when people get banned. I can understand why, right? I can understand why, but I usually think that oh man, it's probably pretty shitty that there's no way for you to be a Republican on YouTube or on Twitch or anything like that without getting ultra fucking banned, right? But as long as you don't say anything fucking racist or anything that's misinformation, you're probably fine to be a Republican online. Jeb Tan, he's a really smart dude. He's a really cool dude. He's a really, Republican dude. But I don't see him as getting fucking banned from everything, right? Because he's not a fucking loser idiot. I almost said another thing, but he's not so fucking stupid that he's gonna get himself fucking banned off of everything. Now, it's not to say that every Republican should be banned in the way that they are right now, but at the same time, you gotta look at the way that they act, right? I think that's stupid. I think that I'm pretty principled on that. We probably shouldn't be banning everyone that disagrees with us. At the same time, Rob will say that us laughing about Trump finally getting, some amount of justice served to him after literally leading a fucking coup on our country, right? Somehow this is an unprincipled thing because if I'm against deplatforming random fucking conservatives on Twitter, that I ought to be against them investigating Donald J. Trump, the president of the goddamn United States, or the former president of the United States. I should always throw that in there because it really triggers the fuck out of them. But the idea that this is in any way opposed to my values is so fucking stupid to me, I returned for a discussion of the movie The Raid Redemption. Has Sondsol reacted to the news? I sure have. We're in the middle of it right now. We're also listening to Rob Noor and lecture fan Cope Mauled Seeth about it.
Is because we already know that this corruption exists. We already know that there's a massive double standard. We already know that they're using and abusing the powers of the government, and we know that they'll use the IRS to go after political opponents. And we know all of this stuff, and there are still tens of millions of Americans Americans that still vote for Democrats. If anything, this type of a news, I think, maybe it inspires the Republican base a little bit more, because this basically proves what we've been saying, right? That's the ironic part about this, right? Is this breaking news, this basically proves that we've all been right for a long time about the double standard, about the corruption, about them going after Trump, about all this stuff.
Do you not think there's any legitimacy
maybe
to it? I want to hear them talk about the
Republicans,
legitimacy
if
of it.
anything.
Well, for me, I
You
think
think so? You think this helps Republicans?
more, which ironically are done.
Coping.
It's funny that this happened right
Right.
after the primaries.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
point.
Right? Like,
Right.
how do you think Carrie Lake would have benefited? Because I think there are sort of,
Right.
there are moderate Republicans that are like, yeah, there was some crazy stuff with the FBI, but I'm more
Hold on.
concerned about tax policy, or I'm more.
Why wouldn't they do it if they're worried about Trump gaining more political power in the United States? Why wouldn't they do it before the fucking primaries when he was endorsing candidates for Congress? Going to federal prison equals deplatforming, LOL. I mean, unironically, that's the kind of like that's the double standard that he's talking about that I support. Yeah, I support people getting deplatformed and all of this shit. Holy fuck. How dumb. How fucking stupid. This helps Republicans? I don't know. I
Some
have
of them
to
are
think
even
about
on
it.
the left. You can see like Glenn Greenwald and people like that. They didn't like Trump, but they'll be out there saying this is outrageous, you know, and they thought the Russiagate coup was an outrage too. But the problem is, you know what's still going to be the issue going into the midterms? You can't put gas in your car. You can't feed your family. You can't pay your mortgage. It's hard for people to wrap their head around corruption. And make no mistake,
So
the
difficult.
reason that the Democrats are able to get away with this corruption is because they control the narrative so well. And so they'll have all
What
of their
are you
media
talking
and
about?
all of these
Republicans
people
do.
that inundate our culture.
Although
will be out
everybody
there
always
saying,
feels like they're on the
this
back
is great.
foot, but-
Trump's evil. He's corrupt. He needs to go to prison the rest of his life. He's the worst. He's the worst. And when you talk to like my neighbors that are farmers, they're going to be like, I don't know nothing about that. If Trump committed some kind of crime, fine, whatever. But what are we going to do about my gas prices? And so I don't know how much this tilts the scale. I know that the January 6th show trial, it didn't help them. When they polled after that show trial, it didn't tilt the scale at all for the Democrats. At all. Maybe
You don't think
abortion
so at
will
all?
tilt the scale, but it wasn't that. So I don't think it'll have much of an effect,
The
sadly.
abortion
No,
definitely
I
tips
hear
the
you. No,
scale,
what you were
okay?
just saying just made me think though, like what they say that Trump did here, handling of official records. It's one of these types of things that nobody cares about. If
Yeah,
tell
you
someone,
don't
"Oh
think
my
so,
gosh,
and
he
nobody
mishandled
fucking
official
cares?
records. Whoa, he
I
mishandled
care.
What kind of an impact does that have on anybody's life? If
Because it was official records in response to the COVID-19, or not the COVID-19, I'm sorry, the January 6th thing. January 6th, where they stormed their fucking Capitol and were threatening to kill the Vice President of the United States. Yeah, some people care about that, buddy.
When you tell somebody, oh, he mishandled official records,
I'm
they
gonna have
just
to look
tune
into
out,
it
they get
before I
bored,
comment
their
on
eyes
it,
glaze
Sean,
over.
sorry.
No, but nobody cares. But that's probably on purpose too. And that's the other thing about this that just shows that it's corrupt and shows that it proves that everything that we've been saying is right, and that they're doing this for nefarious reasons and ulterior motives and you name it. Is if they don't actually have anything that he did, they actually can't point to anything that says, here's the smoking gun, Trump committed a crime.
Well, they
It's
just
this
raided his
BS
house
sort of
for it.
esoteric, like,
What are you talking about? They
mishandling
just
of
raided his
official
house
records
for it.
that's completely meaningless. And so yeah,
They just raided his house
just
for the
don't see
smoking gun.
very many people caring about this, other than the people that are already tuned into the shenanigans of the Democrats. I think you're right that it's still going to come down to the economy, and of course the Democrats just hammered through another $750 billion blowout spending package and tax hikes and more IRS agents.
That's how you
which
fight
they will
inflation,
use to
dumb
then
fuck.
go after their political enemies. I mean, this is just a bad week.
Yeah, just two
I think
points
it's
here real quick.
based.
Yeah, you know, your point on the mishandling. Remember, we know for a fact James Comey mishandled classified
Hey.
information. He was recommended to be
Hillary
shot.
Clinton's
Nobody
emails.
cares about me anymore or how I was mishandled. Feels bad, man. And to think that once people would go so far as to say I would cause people's deaths if they had information leading to Hillary Clinton's arrest.
Listen, I'm sorry, Hillary Clinton's emails, but you know, you're still politically relevant because every single time a political opponent of the Democrats comes up, right, the Republicans are going to come out and they're going to say, but what about Hillary's emails? And then it's going to be a whole fucking cycle again. So listen, you will be remembered for all of times, Hillary Clinton's emails, for all of time.
If we're now going to send the FBI to raid people's homes that mishandled classified information, why aren't we doing it to all the Democrats and the FBI people that we know did just that? If they would go back and say, oh, and by the way, we're raiding James Comey's house and we're raiding Hillary Clinton's house, right? Fine. The same with Veritas. You want to raid Project Veritas because allegedly they
stole shit from someone?
Then why aren't you raiding Rachel Maddow when she got Trump's tax returns? If you want to do both of them,
that wasn't
no problem.
stolen.
I don't have a problem. What I have a problem with is in every single case, it's a two-tier justice system. So I don't know how much that will weigh, but that's
so dishonest. The framing of literally everything. Holy shit!
It's equally as interesting. This massive Green New Deal.
Jesus Christ!
Notice they stopped calling it in the media already. The Inflation Reduction Act. Now
it's a climate. Now
historic
it's a climate.
Yeah,
what is
it? Climate legislation. Oh, just like that,
I need to look at it. I need to look at it.
I read this interesting quote, or I saw this interesting quote from Milton Friedman. It was just like 30 seconds. I wish I had it with me now. And he said, inflation's a lot like alcoholism. And in both, like with being an alcoholic or inflation, at first it's good. It feels good. Oh, you print a bunch of money. There's good stuff that comes. Alcohol, oh, you're getting drunk. It's good. You don't see the negative effects until later. But when you're trying to get off it, it's the exact opposite. At first, it feels bad. Like you go through alcohol withdrawal. With inflation, well, now we've spent more than we have. We have to start tightening programs. We have to, right? And so I think that that's an apt metaphor. And sadly,
really?
Are the American people going to see the effects of this inflation-causing bill? Are they going to see? They're not going to get audited until after the midterms, right? So what's going to happen is they're going to be sold this bill of goods that's like, we capped insulin prices, and this is all good. We're just going after
Is that bad?
And it's all good, and these programs are going to be great. And then people will say, if anything, it'll help Democrats because it gets to change the narrative from how bad they were doing. So people might be hopefully, oh, the Inflation Reduction Act passed? Great, that'll help me with inflation. And they won't see until after the midterms. So I don't know. I don't think that that's going to have a big effect on the midterm either.
Yeah, okay, interesting. I've got some more thoughts on that. But what you were just saying kind of really, I think, gets to the root of the problem that we have.
If they stop talking about the Republican or the Trump thing, then we're going to scooch off of this and find something else.
I've talked about this before and always thought of it.
Chat, find me a Newsmax article or something. Find me a Newsmax live feed. Find me a Newsmax live feed. I want to see what their take is.
Involve short-term
OANN.
So, for example, if we were going to balance the federal budget, let's say we're going to balance the federal budget, okay? That's going to cause some short-term pain. All of the people that are dependent on federal government handouts, all of the businesses that are surviving on federal government contracts, it's going to be painful, very painful. I mean, think about it. What if we started to phase out Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and send those programs back to the states? In the long run, that's better for everybody. It's better for the country. But in the short term, the political arguments you can make about grandma's going to die and all these Americans are going to die and stuff. So it's like, how do you ever? So that's why, I mean, really to have a function, kind of goes back to the whole idea of like, to have a functioning republic, constitutional republic, you have to have citizens who are engaged and informed, because otherwise you're going to get what we have now, which is people are not that informed and they're just going to go for
I know. I'm watching two people right now that are contributing to that. Fuck!
Yeah, let's just print money. Yeah, let's just keep doing all this government spending.
Okay, I don't care about this anymore. We are going back to the Trump shit, okay? I care more about the Trump shit than anything else, okay? I don't care about anything else except for this Trump stuff right now, okay? Dark Brendan is rising. Unrelated, but do you think Alex Jones should be penalized for his speech, or should he have full free speech? He's not being jailed for it, but I think that you can have civil. I think civil penalizations are fine for what he did. Okay, hold on. We gotta find.
Meeting, but also some details out of Mar-a-Lago, Florida, as former President Donald Trump confirmed on his Truth Social that the FBI has raided his residence in Mar-a-Lago. He wasn't currently at the residence, as he's still up in the Northeast, still at his residence there.
No, not lice. Live on YouTube.
To due process, where's the right to confront your witnesses, to put evidence?
These pictures of what she alleges were documents being ripped up and flushed down the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, which are documents that apparently.
But I think these guys have egos. Of course, I think one guy has a bigger ego than the other. But
they're leaving in New York City because they say that it's a. It is political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was allowed to delete and acid wash.
Oh my God, did this lady have a fucking stroke? Holy shit.
33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her accountable. She even took antique furniture and other items from the White House. I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls, they are trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. Now, that statement, that breaking news statement, the first time I saw was just when I read it right now. That's from the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. A shocking statement to see. Obviously, that there's an ongoing.
Oh, they hate saying former, don't they?
Very little information about it other than the statement that he put out that Mar-a-Lago is currently being raided by the FBI. It's unclear what the investigation is for, but nonetheless, certainly is a surprising breaking news story tonight as we continue to watch this. I'm sure that tonight, Rob Schmitt, my colleagues here at Newsmax, will be covering this. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. We, of course, don't even know what they're doing. Rob, are you there?
Yeah.
We do know what they're doing. They're raiding his house for documents about January 6th.
The first time I saw that statement was when they put it up there for me to read.
Right, yeah. Just came in on Truth Social just a little bit ago. We're on the phone with the attorney for Donald Trump, Alina Hava, right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Is it related to January 6th? What exactly is it related to? And trying to get in touch with the Justice Department as well.
What they would do, though, is they would hand them a warrant right when they go in. I mean, somebody knows something on the ground in Mar-a-Lago as to why they're there.
Yeah.
But the fact that they go into a safe is sort of interesting because usually what you do is you would seize the safe and then you go get a subpoena to go into the safe. I mean, I don't know what they think is in the safe, but they could have seized the safe.
They probably had they had a search warrant for any place that has documents. So they probably seized his computers. They probably seized like a whole bunch of different fucking like documents. They probably seized the safe to see if there were documents in there. Like, yeah, it's pretty I don't know what to fucking say to you. Why do you think that they grabbed the fucking safe? Do you think that they need a subpoena to open the safe after they've already got the warrants to search and raid his house? Signed by a fucking judge, a federal fucking judge? Of course they have the fucking subpoena to do that.
Unless it's a wall safe that they can't take out of the wall. I mean, obviously, I'm just relying on my criminal defense experience, and we have no idea what's going on there, but it's going to be quite a night here on Newsmax as you cover it, and that does it for all.
It's going to be quite a night, guys. Buckle up.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Greta. Thank you so much. All right, tonight we're going to obviously talk about that. Also, Senate Democrats voting to massively expand government, harass the working class, and protect the super wealthy. Let's check it out. And welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. Of course, the breaking news coming from South Florida, Palm Beach, Florida. Trump's property, Mar-a-Lago, right there on the Atlantic Ocean. Beautiful property, and it is under raid tonight by the FBI. We're not exactly sure what they're looking for. Trump putting out a statement on Truth Social saying that they've even gotten into the safe in his home. It's actually a social club. It's a beach club. Mar-a-Lago is. It's a place where a lot of people go and hang out and have dinner and sit by the pool and go to the beach and drinks and all stuff like that. And then Trump's home is actually just a corner of that property. It's about 10 acres right on the Atlantic Ocean. It's a beautiful place. And right now it is under siege, under raid by the FBI.
Listen how they fucking like front into all that. Oh, it's a beautiful place. It's not even like really like a compound or anything. It's just like it's just kind of a place where people like go out and they drink and they like look at the ocean and shit. Don't you like the ocean? Don't you guys like the ocean? This is an attack on our oceans, our nation's oceans. And like really, it's just like a social club, and it's not even like he has like a big property there. It's just like the corner of it, 10 acres. Like, come the fuck on, dude. Just talk about the actual fucking thing that happened. What a loser.
All right, we're working to get more information. We've got our sources working on people. This all just popping up here in just the last couple minutes. As we wrangle through all that, we will circle back to you, as Jen Psaki would say, and give you the latest developments. Our other big story tonight is obviously what's going on in the Senate right now. During the 2016 campaign, Donald Trump himself actually promised he would work to get rid of what's called the carried interest loophole. It was part of Trump's populist platform. The idea was a way to force the super wealthy, the hedge fund types, to pay up and at least pay the same as working class Americans. It was one of the more refreshing parts of Trump's politics. Those bizarre issues where Trump and Bernie Sanders actually agreed. In a fiercely divided two-party system, Trump's politics took the rare good ideas that come from the left and molded them into his mostly conservative platform. And it was different. It was unique. Removing this loophole was a great idea. The tax provision almost exclusively benefits the very wealthy in this country. The super rich hedge funders get to take their income and get taxed as capital gains, which is 20%. That's a pretty good deal for how much money they make. Extremely low tax rate for some of the richest people in the country. Take a listen.
Do is get rid of carried interest. One of the greatest provisions for people like me, to be honest with you.
For people like him.
That was literally
real words from a Republican, I would say. In the end,
yes, we have multiple times, and I'm going to keep on doing it too, motherfuckers.
Act, the big tax bill from 2017. The loophole remained. It stayed. It was a loss for Trump on that, but he got his bill passed. And of course, when that loophole still remained, Democrats, as you would expect, went off.
Once again, the president's plan doesn't close the carried interest loophole. Now, this is the second big occasion on which the president has failed to follow through on his campaign promise.
Weird dude. Fast forward to this past weekend.
Weird dude. What?
Which explicitly blame wealth disparities.
Trump won. Well, he didn't win today, motherfucker.
Carried interest loophole provision. And it caused almost no commotion at all. You barely heard anything about it, did you? It serves as one of those moments when you see just how vapid Washington really is.
So
the opportunity
good.
to pass a bill that rapidly expands government was so good that Democrats are fine allowing it to be funded almost entirely by the working class, just as long as they get their big, disgusting government a little bit bigger. So now,
big, disgusting government. Listen to the way he fucking talks. Holy shit.
Some of the most sanctimonious, phony Americans on earth. What's really actually important to Democrats? What are they passing right now? Well, first, they got to make sure the Inflation Reduction Act dramatically raises taxes on American energy.
That's how
Now,
you
no
reduce inflation,
on the
you
working
dumb
class and
fuck.
high energy costs. So $20 billion
Loser.
in taxes on domestic energy companies. Look at all that.
Fool.
Which, like all corporate tax
Talk
hikes,
more about
is just going
Trump's
to come out of your pocket.
fucking
So that's
thing.
the
I want to hear
Inflation
the cope.
Reduction
I want to
Act.
hear
It'll
the
do nothing to
seed.
reduce inflation. It'll do everything to make energy more expensive. You will be poor because of this bill in so many different ways, and we're just getting started. Any good economist will tell you that dramatic tax hikes, of course, right at the start of a recession is a brilliant move, especially politically. You really want to raise tax hikes right now.
We don't. Fuck. I'm not getting through this. The problem is that like when you have inflation, that means you have too much money circulating in the system. So how do you do that? Well, you increase your interest rates. So more money comes out of the system. You use your fractional reserve banks and you increase the amount of money that they have to hold on to, lowers the amount of money in the system, and you increase taxes. Guess what? That's actually good for this kind of inflation. Shut the fuck up. Economically illiterate. Dumb fucks.
There's no reason to be fearful. And if you have paid your taxes and if you comply with our laws, you should want to make sure everyone else does that.
That's right. You should love paying taxes. You should want to pay more. Don't
Yeah.
you want to pay more? It's your patriotic
True.
duty. Here's where your
Based.
money is going, by the way, that you should be so proud to be paying. Over the weekend, CBS reporting that of the billions right now you are sending to Ukraine, only about 30% of that military equipment is actually making its way to the battlefield. Just 30% of those billions of dollars. Where's the rest going? Well, I doubt anybody in Congress cares. It's not their money. It's your money. Just keep paying them. Who cares where it goes? Just keep paying and be proud to pay. $2.4 billion
realizes that
spent
they
on
pay
unused
taxes
buildings that
too,
you paid
right?
to build in Afghanistan. There was at least $4 billion wasted in PPP scams after Democrats printed trillions and threw it all over the country in the last couple years. No big deal there.
That was the
250 million to construct border
Republican
walls in Northern
fucking,
Africa.
like,
Pay your
president.
taxes or you're not a patriot if you're not building walls in Africa. Green energy in Africa, another 179 million. Why wouldn't anybody want to pay taxes? I mean, you should want to pay
Soon,
more,
Alan
as a matter of fact. This
Dershowitz.
is
I
what
want to
democracy
see
looks
that.
like,
Let's
of
skipping
course.
forward. This is so.
We don't really have insight yet.
They
FBI
are
raid, as we
coping.
speak. Any
They are
indication on your end
coping.
what this might be related to? Is this January 6th? What is this?
Well, I've been trying to email and text to my friends around the country to see if they can give me insight.
Yep.
We don't really have insight yet. The FBI and DOJ haven't come out publicly and said what they're looking for. But I can tell you this. This gets at the heart of what I was saying over the weekend, that FBI and DOJ needs to be looked at very carefully because they have weaponized those agencies, those police agencies, against Americans who they disagree with politically.
Yep.
And it wouldn't surprise me if we get down to that again, Rob.
It wouldn't surprise me either, and you can throw the IRS in there too, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show. The IRS has been politicized in recent years as well. It does look like this vote's coming on Friday. Is this unstoppable?
The
at this point?
IRS
Is
has
it they have a vote?
always been politicized.
Looks like they have the
Shut
votes.
the fuck up.
I think there's some leverage points we have to slow it down a little bit, but
Yep.
ultimately this thing's going to pass, if not Friday, then next week.
And the IRS, the massive expansion of the IRS. How sick of a country are you in when Democrats are
We've
so proud
needed
to
that.
massively expand the Internal Revenue Service?
Well, again, that's going to be weaponized and politicized, just like it was under Lois Lerner, where they went after conservative organizations. They're going to be coming after you and me and others like us. They're going to be turning us upside down to shake every dime and nickel and penny out of our pockets and punish us if they feel we haven't given them enough. That's where we're headed. That's an authoritarian type of government, Rob.
Understood. Congressman Andy Biggs, thank you, sir, for taking the time. We appreciate it. Going to go now to Alan Dershowitz, our
Let's see what he has to say.
We've got this raid. Sir, it's good to have you on at Mar-a-Lago, the FBI at Mar-a-Lago. Your top line thoughts. We're trying to still piece together what this is exactly about.
Anybody, unless they can't get the through subpoenas and other lawful methods. The raid is supposed to be a last resort. But this administration has used the weaponization of the justice system against its political enemies. It's arrested people, denied them bail, put them in handcuffs, used all kinds of techniques that are not usually applied to American citizens. And I just hope
American citizens never get handcuffs put on them. Never, ever. It is unheard of for an American citizen to have handcuffs put on them. Ugh, disgusting. Disgusting.
this raid has a justification. If it doesn't have a justification, the material seized in it will be suppressed.
Do you, I mean, any indications on your end what this is about, or are you just as blindsided as everybody else? We didn't see this coming.
Well, I suspect it has to do with some investigations leading toward Donald Trump and some of his associates. But again, the law is clear. You don't engage in a raid unless you've exhausted all the other remedies, unless you believe that the person raided will destroy the evidence. Raids are not a first recourse in America. They're a last recourse. And so the government will have to show a court eventually that they exhausted all other possibilities, or they had a reasonable
Well, I can't wait for us to see
the
that.
evidence would be destroyed if it was sought in the normal legal course of events through subpoena. Raids are a last resort. But today, in many instances, it's being used as a first resort. The same thing is true with they're supposed to be last resorts. You write a letter to the lawyer saying, please show up in front of a judge, and that's the way it usually works. But in order to get on television, they have a lot of these raids where people are arrested, put in handcuffs, sometimes put in leg shackles, bail denied. Presumption still applies, but it's applied only in theory, but not in practice.
Understood. Yeah, President Trump releasing quite a lengthy statement on Truth Social. Here's part of it. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want to be the president in 2024. Just wrapping it up, he basically says what you were indicating there, that this is, this is something that was not necessary, that he was cooperating. You said this should be a
Let's see what Twitter is saying now.
Yes, there's evidence that we're not. This is improper and it is misconduct, and we have to find out what the facts are, but we have to make sure that the shoe fits on the other foot, that we want to make sure that what's being done here is something that Democrats would not oppose if it were being done to Democratic operatives as well. I don't think it passes.
Understood. Okay, Alan Dershowitz, thank you, sir, for taking the time. We appreciate it. We're going to follow this story. Of course, we're going to try and get the attorney for Trump on the phone if we can at some point in this hour. We will follow the breaking news as we always do. Coming up after the break, want to know why the IRS is getting $80 billion? Because they proved under Obama that they are politically charged.
Wait, hold on. This is the live feed outside of the. Oh my God! Look how many fucking. Oh shit, dude! Holy shit! Showing nothing but cop lights. So dramatic. It is dramatic. This is dramatic as fuck. Do you think Trump is out here on the sidelines? Like, oh shit. Oh no, they're driving by with fucking... What is that one? It has red and blue? The thin blue and red line? They're about to shut that down. Holy shit. Listen, if they actually... Like the post that we saw from the Donald, okay? If that actually was as... if they were being honest about that, then that's kind of spooky, okay? If they actually start going like actual whole hog, like we're going to fight, rape, kill for Donald Trump. Well, it's a little spooky. Wait, is there a way to... Trucker convoy, roll out. Uh-oh, who's leaving? Is that Mr. Trump himself? It got real quiet in there. What the fuck? What are they saying? The big guy gets 10%? Isn't Trump at CPAC? I have no clue. I want to watch Fox News. Let's hear what he's saying.
To noodle with here, to piece it together, it may perhaps have something to do with this New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman releasing these pictures of what she alleges were documents being ripped up and flushed down the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, which are documents that apparently the former president is supposed to hold on to, that you can't destroy, that you can't.
Hunter Biden isn't the president.
Because it appears from what we were just discussing that those documents may have been revealed today, or at least revealed to perhaps Axios today. We don't know. We don't know if this is related to that, to January 6th. Obviously,
listen, everybody, if you're new here, here's my YouTube link. Please go subscribe to the YouTube. Join the Discord. It's always active nowadays. All right?
They're very nervous he's going to run again.
I'm going to follow this shit closely.
So it's politicized and politically charged in every possible way. But agents are at Mar-a-Lago. That's the rub at this point. We will follow the story. Any updates we get. I just spoke to his attorney on the phone in the commercial break. I'll let you know as soon as we know. All right, so how will Democrats pay for this $740 billion tax and climate package that the Senate just passed over the weekend? Well, they're going to pay for a lot of it.
What the fuck?
By auditing you.
Why wasn't I able to move?
That sounds fun. Congressional correspondent Kelly Ducart joins us now live from Capitol Hill. Kelly.
Okay, we're skipping past.
Good to be with you.
Combined. Pentagon, the FBI, the State Department agencies, Border Patrol combined, your money from you. As you heard, Senator, it's way more important to our government than.
It's a staggering amount of money, Rob, and in fact, that 80, and also, we just spoke businesses. They are prepared to put a total squeeze on the rest of us.
Imagine if Trump flees to Russia.
Below $200,000.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
A minimum of $10,000.
We're posting more videos there more often.
In that frame, and that means most of us will be looking at an audit.
Yeah. I want to ask you about this raid at Mar-a-Lago, which I think has just wrapped up at some point recently. There's a picture of the beach club, Trump's beach club. His residence there is over on the right side in that photo. What do you make of this?
I think it is completely outrageous. This is appalling. We just spoke about the IRS and the
potential
for weaponization of the IRS. The Democrats have been weaponizing the IRS for decades, going back to the 1960s, against Republicans, conservatives, religious groups, and so on.
Stop evading your taxes.
But we also have to keep in mind that the other fearsome agency of the U.S. government, the DOJ and FBI, have also now been incredibly weaponized against their political opponents. And that includes the number one target, which is Donald Trump. As you know, Rob, I started my career working for former President Richard Nixon. And after Watergate, Gerald Ford, his successor, pardoned him. So we have never seen anything like this, where you have a former president of the United States targeted in a criminal way by his political adversaries. We are in a
Nixon had the fucking good graces to fucking resign when he was caught doing all the fucking horrible shit. You don't get to sit there and cry about, oh, well, Nixon got pardoned. Nixon knew that he did something bad. He got caught doing something bad. He was disgraced, and they felt like that disgrace was enough. Trump doesn't feel like he's been disgraced enough. All right. So we have to apply more pressure to him. We have to do something to him. So he's not going to continue to do fucking horrible things to the country. Nixon tried to go away forever. All right. Trump is trying to stay as some sort of evil goblin forever haunting the shadow of the White House. All right. Why am I not able to move? Why does it keep on doing that? Jesus fucking Christ.
A very dangerous moment. It's not just dangerous for President Trump. He's essentially a stand-in for the rest of us. Yep. Remember when he used to say that they're attacking me because they're after you? That is exactly what this is all about. This is a shot across the bow to prevent President Trump from ever running for president again. They want to stop him in his tracks, but they're also coming after all of us. This is a signal to the rest of us. Hey, don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't think that you have the
link it, send it to me on Discord, Safir Neon. I want to see what the meme is.
It's a major moment in this country, even with the IRS story, which was the lead of the show up until 6:59 when all this information started coming out about this raid. But they're all kind of tethered. You know, the IRS is politicized. The DOJ is politicized. You've got government has figured out how to infiltrate other areas of government to all work. And really, the one party has figured out how to control all of this so that they can have perpetual power. You know, I mean, the goal, obviously, for the Democrat Party is to never lose an election. All these different methods help.
Yeah, same for the Republicans. That's why they try to overthrow our last one.
You've got the same thing here. I mean, you intimidate people so that they don't do anything you don't want them to do. President Trump doesn't run. We have a weaker politician who's going to be, more embedded with the swamp, more traditional. They don't want to change this country. They obviously like the way things are going.
Orange Man is bad.
Entity that is in complete control of this country. And
I like this game. Yeah, it's a nice little.
And at the end of the day, that's what this
don't
is
have
about.
to think while I'm playing
absolutely.
or while I'm
Donald
streaming.
Trump is a symbol. Obviously, he's the target of this raid today, Rob. But he represents an existential threat to the entire ruling class. That includes the Uni Party. It includes the deep state, the permanent bureaucracy.
He represents a fundamental threat to literally everything that our democracy stands for. Okay. He represents that kind of threat. It's not something like simple and nothing. He represents an existential threat to our democracy, not to the ruling class, but to everyday Americans who don't agree with the Republican Party. If you don't agree with Donald Trump, then he is a existential threat to you and your way of life. Unironically, yes.
And the media. So, of course, he's the biggest of them all. But the signal that they are sending by doing this is to all of us, not to stick your head up too far above what is allowed, or they're going to be targeting you as well. And, the message here also is that they...
Yeah, that's the way that literally every law is. Don't stick your head up too high. If you go around murdering people and you get caught doing it, you're probably going to get punished. If you try to overthrow an open and freely held election, then you're probably going to get arrested. These are things that are really, really bad for us to do in society. So you probably have to keep your head down if you don't want to get arrested. You have to follow the laws. You have to not break laws. You have to understand that there are consequences for your actions. Holy shit.
Know that there are more of us than them. And so every single time...
I'm going to be pointing and laughing for a long time.
To try to challenge the ruling class, they have smeared and attacked us.
And again, if you're new here, you haven't ever looked at my YouTube, the link is, if you just type in !YouTube, you'll get it. I think there's also a link somewhere below. You'll get to see all of my debates. You'll get to see all of my coverage of other news stories and shit. Check it out. I love arguing with people. I love shitting on dumb hardcore fucking communists and hardcore fucking Nazis. And I get to do it often nowadays. So
whether it was the Tea Party movement, which was smeared and attacked, and that's how they dispersed that, or whether it's the America First.
The Tea Party movement just got assimilated into the Republican Party. They didn't get squashed. They won.
And the entire corrupt status quo is threatened. So they have to do whatever is in their power to try to
what are they talking about? The Tea Party won.
Destroy us. And Donald Trump, of course, was the greatest symbol of all of these movements, which is why he's the #1 target.
Whoop.
It's something else. It's a scary time. We've watched this government grow and expand to get to the point where it is.
Like, who is this lady? Is that, no, that can't be, no, that's not, no. That's just another white blonde lady. That's not, the lady that said, alternative facts, right? It can't be. That's not her, right? No, I don't think it is. Okay, fuck, what did they just say? I've already lost track because I got sidetracked. 1 second.
And destroy us. And Donald Trump, of course, was the greatest symbol of all of these movements, which is why he's the #1 target.
It's something else. It's a scary time. We've watched
it's not
Kellyanne
Conway.
to get to the point where it is getting scary. And there's no such thing as a government that is uncorrupted. They're all corrupt to some extent. It's just a matter of how much. And that's why this whole country was founded on keeping government small, maintaining a small government any way you possibly can. This one's growing out of control, and it just got a lot bigger, or it will this Friday.
It's so fucking funny that Republicans say that, because Republicans routinely grow the government significantly more than Democrats do. They always like put us like well into a deficit spending like budget. They like routinely like pass things like the fucking Patriot Act and shit like that. Like they grow our government so much more than Democrats do. It's just that Democrats grow our government in a way that like actually affects the lives of poor people and helps them out and gives them some sort of, social safety net that they can fall back on if times get rough. But like Republicans, they hate that shit. They just want the large government to work for them. They want the large government to come through and, legislate who they can have sex with. They want the government to come through and legislate who they can marry. They want the government to come through and tell them when they can or can't have an abortion. Right? Like that's what the Republican Party does. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party is just like passing bills like, oh yeah, if there is like, if you're a trans kid, you should be able to get health care. It's not forcing people to get the health care. It's just saying that they can get it. Meanwhile, Republicans are more restrictive than the Democrats ever have been or ever will be. I don't fucking know. Like they talk about like big government, but they are unironically the most authoritarian party in the Western world, as far as I know.
Friday, when this bill passes the House, the IRS is going to be huge after that. Monica Crowley, perfect person to have on tonight to talk about this. We appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, coming up, the war of words escalating between the Texas governor and New York City's mayor.
Orange man is bad.
He's
unironically bad.
Migrants were sent to his city. Try having 500,000 here.
Okay, we're going to skip forward.
Studies
I want to see if they get anyone on because the Trumples trust
and we know
him.
the national security.
Right. So like the Trump people trust him. So that's why I want to see or trust Newsmax more than they trust Fox News or CNN. So that's why I want to look through this, because Fox News isn't doing a live feed that involves their like large talking heads. So I just want to see.
What do you make of what's happening in Mar-a-Lago tonight? I mean, I'm seeing all over Twitter from conservatives saying this is like.
Yeah, what do you make of it, dumb fuck?
This is sad. I will tell you, I sat on HIPSI, and we deal with the national security issues all the time. This has never been brought up to us. We've never been briefed on this. This is something completely unheard of. When you start looking at what they've done to the president ever since he was even running for office, it's been one hoax after the next, from Russia collusion to them saying they were going to impeach him for political purposes, why they overlook all the stuff that the Clintons have done over the years, allowing her to literally acid wash, her emails. After she was subpoenaed, you start seeing
literally
the
acid wash
on his businesses when they and his kids, why they completely overlook what Hunter Biden has done.
Hunter Biden isn't an elected official.
A wow factor if they haven't been going after the president the entire time. And so I think what is happening now is, in one hand, Rob, I'm extremely, extremely concerned on the direction that the country is going. On the other hand, I'm hoping, the FBI better know what they're doing, or otherwise the faith of the American people on our justice system is going to be completely eroded, and it's going to take decades for us to get it back. But I don't think for a second that this isn't politically motivated. I believe with everything inside of me, this is nothing but the Democrats and the Biden administration and their.
I'd love to see what I want to know. Okay, I want to know what is who was the judge that signed off on it. I want to know who the judge was that signed off on it. Because if it was a Trump elected or a Trump appointed judge, that's just so fucking funny. I want to know who the judge was.
Continued effort to undermine President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious with how hard they go after him for everything. I want to read you just this was an exclusive Axios story from earlier today. It's called Trump's Telltale Toilet, and it documents these it's got pictures here of, I guess, these documents that Maggie Haberman claimed were in her upcoming book that basically say they were stuffing executive documents in the toilet, flushing them down the toilet to get rid of it instead of using the shredder or whatever, documents that were not supposed to be destroyed. Do you think it has anything to do with that?
Well, first of all, I have one of the largest plumbing companies.
But her emails. Where's Hunter's laptop? But her emails. Where's Hunter's laptop?
And stuffing papers down a stool will mean you're going to stop it up the very first time you try to flush it. So that has zero credibility whatsoever.
Oh, shut the fuck! Wait, hold on. Is there counter to the emails or the documents couldn't have been flushed down the toilet because it would stop up the toilet? Really? They couldn't have shredded it and then flushed it down? Like, do they think that they put entire stacks of papers into the toilet and then just like flushed it? Like, is that literally what they think happened? That's so unbelievably sad that this is the level of defense that we're getting from them. Oh, well, it would have just like stopped up the toilet. It's like literally impossible, bro. Like, it's not possible. It would like you've seen the way that Trump shits. If you think that his shits wouldn't stop up the toilet, then these papers definitely would. Like, come on.
2 or 3 pages at a time, but not stuffing them full. I don't know what it has to do with as far as what she's talking about, but here's what's going to be a telltale sign, I think, Rob.
If you think the White House doesn't have the most impressive fucking flush power, you're fucking coping.
Tonight. I guarantee you they're going to be talking from the same talking points. Sure. That will tell you how politically motivated this thing was.
How threatened, I mean, when you look at Washington, as somebody that's been in Washington now for a little while, you look at the way the infrastructure is set up, the way the whole country is run. For somebody you still think about 2016 and how shocking it must have been to that power structure to see somebody that they have absolutely no control or connection to, have no power over.
God, it's like listening to Rob Noor. Holy shit.
I mean, that must have been a real wake-up call.
I think it shook everybody to the core because here you had someone that was a complete outsider. President Trump had really no political experience other than just donating to politicians, honestly, on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
He was sought after because he had deep pockets, but he had never ran for office. He had made it
yes, he
was
had
going to run, and he was able to self-fund, which meant that a lot of people didn't have their hands in his pockets.
Yeah, it would be amazing if they tried to flush some papers down the toilet right now. Look, I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you right now. I'm going to flush down my birth certificate. It won't go down, so I know I'm safe.
Those that were supposed to have the direct relationships with the White House. He completely did away with all that. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the political hatred that the Democrats have from him, but I will say it did shake up D.C. a lot, and I thought it was for the best. What the Democrats have, though, is before he even started making those decisions, they were already coming out saying they were going to impeach him. They already made the decision they were going to go after the Russia collusion and the Russian hoax. That was before he even made one single presidential decision. So I think they're pure disdain for President Trump because maybe they thought at one time he was a Democrat and when he came out to be a Republican. I don't know. Maybe they got hurt that way. But
maybe it's the fact that he was like pretty openly racist and bigoted on the campaign trail.
I remember when Hillary Clinton everybody was wanting us to prosecute Hillary Clinton, and we were informed by the intelligence community that we need to be very, very careful on how we approach a presidential hopeful, and especially the Clintons, who once was in the White House. We had to be very careful on how we approach them with any criminal activity or accusations because the rest of the world is paying attention to us because we don't prosecute political enemies. This was a briefing that we had from our intelligence community, and I will tell you right now, the FBI was there, who was warning us that we need to proceed with caution. And now you see what they're doing to President Trump. Seems like
do you not? Well, do you think that
straightforward?
That's like, it's so fucking funny that he brings that up because he's just assuming that is not what's happening. He's just assuming that the FBI is not proceeding with caution, that is totally politically motivated. He doesn't have any information. He has as much information as we do right now, that Trump's house was invaded by the FBI. They took his safe. They took all of this shit. He's just assuming that it was politically motivated rather than, they actually had the probable cause to go into their house and had the fucking, the warrant to go in there signed by a federal judge. Like, do you think that they didn't consider any of this? Do you really think that they're that fucking stupid? Do you think that they're that fucking like they don't have any self-awareness whatsoever? No, of course they have. They have considered all of this, but they still chose to go forward with it because they're probably pretty fucking sure that they have something that is going to get Donald Trump locked up. He has done something significant enough to get the FBI to raid his house as a former president of the United States. That is significant, okay? That is significant.
To whatever they're trying to prove here.
I really do think that they've figured something out, and I think it's always been working towards this. I think this is what government does, right? I mean, it's power. It is a power struggle in every regard, and I don't care what anybody says. Either party in this country would do anything to get control of that city and this country perpetually for as long as they can. And I just think that the Democrats have figured out a way to infiltrate all of these other areas of government to help spread their control, and they're doing it in so many different ways, and they do it through so many different facets. I think even with the IRS, like we just talked about, I think there are ways to use all of these different areas of government to push your position.
Yeah, but I would push back a little bit on that. Democrats are a different party than the Republican Party, just the mindset. Democrats are used to following the leader. They get behind somebody and they push and they all walk off the cliff together. They're all headed that way. They've done it multiple times. Look what's happening with ACA and look what's happening right now.
Bro, what are you talking about? The Republican Party is they are so into like the bending the knee. Look at fucking Ted Cruz, cucked by Donald Trump. Ted Cruz was cucked by Donald Trump. Donald Trump made fun of his wife on the campaign trail, like ruthlessly. He ruthlessly made fun of Lion Ted, right? Made fun of everyone in his family and how his wife actually fucking hated him and shit like that. And Ted Cruz was sitting there making calls for Donald Trump. He was sitting there making calls for Donald Trump like a week later. He sat there and he fought for Donald Trump to try and overthrow the election on January 6th. You want to talk about a cucked fucking party that follows the leader? Look at the fucking Republicans. You can look at the dissidents within the Democratic Party, which has a lot more diverse opinions than the Republican Party, okay? They have a lot more like diversity. They have blue dog Democrats. They have corporate Dems. They have the fucking progressive Democrats. They have the Justice Dems. They have independents. They have all sorts of fucking shit going on in there, right? The Republican Party, there's like libertarians and MAGA people. Like that's kind of all you got. Like that's kind of all you got. And he wants to talk about like bending the knee. Fuck off.
Now with the red wave coming. Republicans are more independent thinkers. We're independent minded. It's almost like
I don't know if they're going to get Drumpf this time, Mr. Berto. I just think it would be really funny if they did.
We would stop. There's enough independent thinking Republicans that would say, hold on a second, hold on. This isn't what I signed up for. And I truly believe that with all my heart. We're just a different party. Now, is there a lot of people in the Republican Party that would do whatever they had to for power? Absolutely, which is why we need more citizen legislators in Washington, D.C. We need to get away from the political mold of the same type of politician running for office, and we need true citizen legislators that can get involved.
Mark Wayne Mullen, the congressman from Oklahoma. Thank you, sir, for taking the time. We do
the congressman from Oklahoma.
All right, coming up, we're going to bring in Dick Morris, do some analysis of what's going on at Mar-a-Lago in South Florida. Stay tuned. Friend, do you remember in South Florida being raided by the FBI? The president is quite upset tonight, which I don't think anybody is surprised to hear that either. And there is the potential that perhaps he will be addressing the media regarding this in some way. He's obviously put the statement out on Truth Social, but he may go further than that. We just don't know at this time. But the president, from what I'm being told, is in Manhattan tonight, and he ain't happy. I can't blame him for that. Dick, your thoughts on what we're seeing tonight?
Well, I feel blessed with the ability to comment on this in a particularly insightful way because I'm probably the only person in American politics who has sat so close to a Democratic and a Republican president while they were in office during the crucial days before their re-election campaigns. And I got to tell you, Democrats do this and Republicans don't. Donald Trump plays between the foul lines on the playing field. He never goes outside of it.
Donald Trump always plays within the goalposts. He's always on the playing field. He's never ever breaking the rules.
He never engages in this kind of underhanded tactic, even when he controlled the FBI and controlled the CIA, sort of. He doesn't do that. The Democrats do. This is why it's particularly urgent, for the point I make in my book, The Return, for us to elect Donald Trump president again. Our entire country depends upon it.
Jesus Christ.
Our system of government depends upon it. Here, every banana Republican in the world, and I've worked all over the world, arrests their former presidents. They go to jail and they get tried. and inevitably they get found guilty, and they usually get condemned to house arrest. And if we start doing that in the United States, we are sunk, and there's no restraint on the
No, I will say this. It is a little bit scary of a precedent to fucking set. I'm not gonna lie. That is a little spooky to set the precedent that like you can arrest a former president. But I think that also there were a lot of precedents that were broken under Trump, right? Like the precedent that like we would have an orderly and normal peaceful transition of power. That was like a precedent that probably should have been upheld and wasn't. So like I don't know. I'm a little bit torn on that. I do agree that it's a difficult kind of situation to navigate for the Democrats, because you, on one hand, you don't want to like set the precedent that you're going to just start arresting everyone that is was a former opponent, right? But I don't know. It's spooky, but
except
it might be
throwing him out of office and
necessary.
putting Trump back in there, and there's no other candidate that can do that except Donald Trump. But I've worked side by side with Trump. He's a ruthless SOB, but on the playing field, within the foul line.
Never
not
on
in
the playing
extraneous
field.
stuff.
I think he would actually probably like that statement. Knowing him, he would probably love that statement. I think a lot of people would. Justice Department declining to make a comment. Obviously, they did the raid. CNN reporting the White House was not notified about this. New York Times says that this is related to 15 boxes of
The
materials.
White House wasn't even notified.
Taken from the National Archives, taken from the White House back in 2021. I guess the materials that came with him to Mar-a-Lago after he left the White House.
It either has to do with the Russia hoax, which the investigator after 2 years has said was a hoax originating in Hillary Clinton's living room, or it has to do with this phony January 6th committee, in which the only sin the president made was to express his personal opinion that the election was rigged and fixed. And for that, they're considering prosecuting him. I think we have to realize that there's no real way Donald Trump is going to go to jail. The appellate courts, even if they find a district judge under a rock who ruled that way, the appellate courts would never agree to that. But what they are trying to do is to make Trump so damaged, such damaged goods, that the Republicans look for primary alternatives. That all of a sudden they see virtue in Mike Pence or Ron DeSantis. Not that they're fomenting it, not that those people are. They're being used. But they're being used to try to generate a primary fight against Trump, because the Democrats feel that's the only way they can win. Having been a Democrat,
anymore,
you have to understand how 1980 looms in their minds. When Jimmy Carter was moving toward re-election after 20 years of Republican rule, Ted Kennedy challenged him in the primary. Carter won, but it so split the party and so discredited Carter that Reagan got elected and ushered in 12 years of Republican rule. And that's what the Democrats are trying to do right now. And if they can get the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago, and they can get anybody to lie or cheat or steal, they'll do it. And Rob, I took such exception to what you said. Both parties don't do this. I've been at the top level of both parties, at the most intimate top level, and Republicans do not do this. Democrats do.
It's interesting. I mean, I don't disagree with you. What I was saying is that I think both parties are so explicitly obsessed with power
that I
don't
filter
think there's
this
much they
by-
would hold back to win. I've never considered Donald Trump to be a traditional member of the Republican Party. You know, I just think when I look at Washington, I see these two political parties, and I take issue with both of them in several different ways. I obviously lean conservative in a number of ways, but I don't.
Dark
inherently
Brandon
trust
is trending.
I look at Washington and I
Dark
see this
Brandon is trending.
little machine that I hate so much, and Trump was like the antithesis of that. They went in there and said, "I'm going to shred all of this," and I think that's why you see Liz Cheney's a perfect example. It doesn't matter what party she's in; she is establishment, and she has to get rid of Donald Trump.
Rob, you're right, it's a snake, but it's not a two-headed snake. It's a one-headed snake. There's stuff that Democrats will do that Republicans won't. Donald Trump or any other Republican, Bush or any of them, would never make up a fanciful...
I think so, it's in a cactus, but I'm not sure.
On the President of the United States, or about to be, and frame him with an allegation that's totally ludicrous, based on completely phonied evidence and conversations that never happened,
would be
and then peddle it to the
FBI
media and get a special prosecutor
director
appointed to investigate it. And for all I know, they raid Mar-a-Lago to get documents to bolster it up. Republicans don't play that way. Democrats do.
It is a dirty game. I mean, and I asked Mark Wayne Mullen the same thing, but I mean, that night, the 2016, when he won that election, I mean, what was that lightning bolt of fear that ran down the spines of everybody in Washington? That whole machine, they freaked out.
You got that exactly right. And the institutional types really cringe. But, you know, that's why we have got to get Donald Trump back in there. For God's sakes, this is not about policy or about inflation or about gas prices. It's about the future of the United States of America as a democracy.
And talk for a second. I mean, obviously, we've talked about this before with you, but his plan going into 24 is he wants to get that next level down, right?
He was appointed by Trump. He was appointed by Trump.
There's this whole group that live underneath there. It's thousands of people inside of government that move between administrations, and all they really care about is securing DC power
we've already
and growing
looked at this one.
government,
We
which are the
already
two
looked
things
at
that I
this
think
one.
most of us hate the most. He wants to get rid of those people in 24.
Yeah, he does, and he has this incredible plan. Back in the 19th century, patronage was so rife that it led to huge corruption.
Oh shit!
The president,
Civil War is
in response,
trending.
the reformers pushed the civil service system, which took over in 1882, and since then, these positions have been filled by test and by merit. But now these guys stay there for 40 years. And they say the president's come and go every 4 years. And who gives a damn what they say? I'll do what I want to do.
Yep.
I'm the environmental expert. I'm the Interior Department expert. I'm the defense expert. And I
Shut the fuck up. Where's my Okay, hold on. Let me look at this really quick. Let's go through some of these. The FBI is raiding President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, and this is the rogue behavior of communist countries, not the United States of America. Well, hold on. Again, like, this is like a really, there is a little bit to be said for, like, saying, hello? There is something to be said for, like, it being kind of spooky to start, like, going after political enemies with the, you know, the FBI. But at the same time, like, we have to try and figure something out. Well, like a good midpoint, okay, where it's not just attacking political enemies, but not allowing former presidents to literally try to overthrow the fucking country and then never do anything to them if they don't succeed, right? Like, what is the best option? I honestly don't fucking know. I genuinely don't know. You aren't starting a civil war, you're fucking 15, true. Yeah, this is a really dangerous precedent to set, but it would be equally dangerous to not go after someone for this. Yeah, exactly. That's like the problem. Let's see.
First and foremost, they did not do this because they think Trump tried to overthrow the government 2 years ago. Anyone who truly believes that is a fool. So number one of the real reasons they did this is because they just spent $500 billion to reduce inflation, and nobody was buying it. So what do? Send the FBI to Mar-a-Lago.
If they're spending money to more fully fund the whatever you call it, the what do you fucking call it? What is it called? The IRS, right? That will lower the amount of inflation because you're getting more money out of the like monetary system. You're getting it out of circulation. So yeah, of course, it's going to reduce inflation.
It'll make headlines coast to coast. Number two, this is a show of force. They don't care about your privacy. They don't care about your due process. Look what we can do to Trump. What do you think we can do to you? Number three, it was to stoke division. Things were getting a little quiet out there. The January 6th hearings didn't quite make the splash they wanted. So let's rile everybody up, get Americans at each other's throats again. Perfect, it's working great. But the real reason they're doing this, the reason this has been planned for weeks or months in advance, they need to find out if Trump actually plans on running for president.
Oh my God, what a fucking cope. What a cope. They only raided his house to see if he's planning on running for president. He's already said he's running for president, you fucking retard. Of course he's running for president in a little bit. Like, this is much more to do with the fucking January 6th thing. Do you think that a fucking federal judge likely fucking appointed by Donald Trump would sign up on this if it was just to see if he was running for president? Wait 3 months. You'll fucking know, dumb fuck. Holy shit, nobody's fucking speaking. Pedocons Malding? Yeah, I know. Isn't the FBI director a Trump appointee? Yes, we just confirmed that a little bit ago. But here's the thing. The FBI and U.S. Attorney's offices in Washington, D.C. and for the Southern District of Florida didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Spokespeople at the Justice Department headquarters in Washington declined to comment. The Secret Service and Palm Beach Police Department deferred comments to the FBI. Two sources familiar with the matter said top Biden White House officials were not given advance notice of the raid. Yeah, it's got to be something big. It's got to be something huge, okay? Because they wouldn't fucking, like, if they didn't even tell fucking Biden. The news of the FBI action comes amid an increasingly complex legal thicket of legal threats encircling Trump and his inner circle. Most prominent among them is the escalating investigation of efforts by Trump and his allies to disrupt the transition of power in 2020, in part by attempting to appoint fraudulent presidential electors that would create a pretense for blocking Joe Biden's victory. Earlier in the day, Justice Department defended its decision to seize the cell phone of John Eastman, the attorney who helped devise Trump's strategy to seize a second term he didn't win. Oh, so... Okay, so they seized it in June. Got it. Listen, I probably would have stopped streaming an hour ago if this didn't happen, right? But I am kind of running out of steam. I might end stream here in a little bit.